Hi, welcome to ADHD TV with me, Jo Richards. I'm just doing a series of videos where I'm answering some really common questions that people ask me. And one of them is, what were the challenges in me finding out that I had ADHD? And I think it goes back to my lack of awareness, my lack of education to do with ADHD. It wasn't until I was, in my 30s when I met other people that had ADHD. They were children, so there was no kind of comparison there. And the information that I was given at the time was pretty much in line with all of the kind of media information, which was, it's a made-up thing, it's down to bad parenting, it's all about people's behaviour and the fact that they're naughty, it's just an excuse. Gosh, there was so much negativity around the conversation. And so I didn't really know any more than that. There was definitely no information circulating in my 30s about ADHD in women that had been glaringly obvious to me. And I thought that all of my traits were quirkiness. I do this and I do that. I thought it was personality related. I had no idea that it was to do with the blueprint of my brain. So not having the right information, not having any examples, any females in my life that knew about ADHD, that could explain what ADHD looked like, not having any women in my life that, could kind of like shine the light on the information. And then the media description of naughty little boy bouncing off the walls, which I know I've mentioned before, also threw me off the scent. I'm not a naughty little boy. I wasn't really a naughty girl either until I became a teenager. And then it all went a bit Pete-tong. Up until then, I was so much a people pleaser. I just wanted to make everybody happy. I wanted to fit in. I just masked. I just learned social cues. I learned really quickly that people were uncomfortable if I behaved in a certain way. I was told I was too much. I was told I was a chatterbox. I was told to stop talking. I was told little girls are seen and not heard. I was told to sit down and behave. I was told to sit still. And so I thought I was the problem and really did mask my behaviour, not even just from everybody else, but even masked to myself, thinking that they were quirky personality things that I needed to deal with and hide and bury. So at 47, and it's so common, the amount of stories from absolutely wonderful women who have discovered they've got ADHD because their children have been on that journey. Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. When I think about the school system and my journey with that, which I have mentioned in other videos, the only examples of the children that had ADHD at my children's school were the extreme situations where these children clearly were so overwhelmed and just did not have the tools or the vocabulary or the knowledge to explain what was going on for them. And so they were classified as the naughty children. They were the ones lashing out. They were the ones pole vaulting the fence, even in primary school. They were, they were just screaming out that they were struggling and they weren't coping in the school environment, but they were just dealt with because of the disruption and the naughty behaviour rather than people trying to go underneath the hood and understand what was driving these kids, which is really sad. So even then, there was no clear representation, especially of any girls, that had ADHD. So it's a real challenge trying to get that information. I always say you don't know what you don't know, so you don't know what to ask. How could I even open up the pathway in the Pandora box of understanding ADHD if I didn't even know what it was to start with? So we're already having an invisible fight. We don't have the words and we don't have the tools or the training or the education to help us look for it, which is why I'd really, really love for screening to happen in doctors' surgeries. Because if I'd done the quiz in my 20s, the adult self-report scale, the ASRS, I would have answered yes to every single question, which is what I did when I was 47. but it would have been nearly 20 plus years sooner and maybe a lot more helpful. I hope you find this video useful. I hope you can relate, or maybe not. Hopefully you had a diagnosis a lot sooner. If you are my age and you are being late diagnosed, or you are looking for information about ADHD and whether maybe it is what's a silent struggle for you, then I hope this video has been informative, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.